Hello,
Sasha!
Hey, Jeffrey!
Good to see you.
You're not
again.
wearing your mask today.
Well, my mask is laying on the couch.
Oh my god, okay, so what's going on?
Well, I just got off the boat.
Okay.
We had a beautiful sail in the Santa Monica Bay. There's still a lot of smoke out there because apparently Mount Wilson is on fire or something like that. So, anyway, so here we are. It's been a few days, a lot has happened. Today was a sad day. We have a new Supreme Court Justice nomination, who I think will basically set us back to the George Wallace days in the United States. So Roe versus Wade will probably be history. Obamacare will be history. Yes. All the people that are on the street, now they can, the only...
And all people will be dying.
Except that...
Hungry.
But in this case, without health care. So, here we go.
So Jeffrey, why is it like something is happening and it's like somebody has to die and it's all like complete chaos, complete like disaster?
But
that lady, I think that the judge, but she's potentially a good candidate, no? She's a woman. She's
only been a judge. What? She's a good, very knowledgeable person. She taught at Notre Dame, but then the only thing is that she's only got 4 years of experience in the I think appellate courts or something like that. But it's not like having somebody who's older, a notoriously great judge or something like that. But anyway.
But she wasn't involved in any scandals. She wasn't a person like with the negative reviews.
The problem is not the scandals. The problem is her beliefs. She's super religious. She believes that all the abortion, everything that the
Republicans.
Everything that what's her name, Ruth Bader Ginsburg believed
she was against it.
Is now going to everything that Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for her whole life now will probably be disappeared. It's very, very sad because everything that this woman worked for, she was brilliant. Well, now because of the majority of the conservatives on the court, and these things are coming up for vote because Obamacare, they're trying to get rid of Obamacare, and then Trump, of course, is saying to everybody, yes, but we agree with existing conditions. You'll hear the plan in 2 weeks. We've been waiting for this plan every 2 weeks for 4 years now. So there is no plan. He's full of crap. Everything he says.
Got it. That part we understand.
But this is what he's telling people. But we'll find out now because the big debate between Biden and Trump is on Tuesday.
Yeah, can't wait.
I can't wait either because Trump is I think a little bit scared because he thought Biden couldn't make a sentence together. The truth is that Trump can't remember anything. He can't tell you what he's going to do because he has no idea what he's going to do.
Jeffrey, he doesn't have to. Like his whole personality, who cares? He says what he thinks. He lives at the moment. So like for Biden, this is all on Biden. The whole debate is on Biden. If Biden doesn't perform well, that's the end.
Yeah, but I think Biden will perform well. I think that
we will see.
I think that every time Trump says something, Biden's going to say, "What do you plan to do? What do you plan to do? What's your plan? What's your plan?" He doesn't have anything. He hasn't passed any legislation in 4 years.
Yeah, but I hope that Biden will like hold Trump
I think. The difference is that from what I understand, Biden is rehearsing for this thing. He's practicing every day with people. He's preparing for this thing. And Trump, of course, will never prepare anything.
But remember, like last election, Hillary Clinton was preparing for everything. She was coming ready, and Trump just went like without no preparedness, and he still looked okay. At least okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll see what it's going to be. The only difference is that I think now Trump's not going against a woman because he tries to dominate all women. The only one he can't quite dominate is probably Melania. But
okay, Jeffrey, we don't know. Let's not go there. So, like, he probably dominated every woman, and that's okay or not. I think that key point for today's days, like for Republicans or Democrats. There are two key events or things what's going on which nobody's caring about. Like I don't see in the news. The most important what's going on in Belarus, the election, the democratic election in Belarus was hijacked by the current president, which for 20 some years, Lukashenko, and he stole the election, and your friend Trump
Is planning to do exactly the same thing.
it doesn't matter. Like let's stay.
But that's,
no, hold on.
I'm sorry, but that is what Trump is going
There's
to
a
try to do.
difference. Hold on 1 second, please. My point is today, like America is about the democracy, and United States of America is supposed to support democratic countries with their like fight for democracy. And United States didn't issue any.
But that's because it's Trump. And
I agree with that, but okay.
here's what needs to be said. For me, Trump is running, he's running against democracy.
I agree with that.
Completely.
Can I
He's
just
trying to
finish?
subvert democracy. He's trying to turn the United States into an authoritarian
Jeffrey, let me
government
ask
that
you a
he's going to
question.
take
Let me ask
over.
you a question. We don't have just Trump as a just president and everything. That's it. Ends with Trump. We have people in Congress.
No, we
have-
don't.
Oh, we don't.
No,
okay, so
no, here's why. Not yet. Right now, we have a Democratic Congress, and all the Democratic Congress can do is propose bills, propose.
why don't they
Wait, let me-
propose?
They propose all day long, and they're coming out with great bills, one after another. But then they have to go to the Senate, and Mitch McConnell, the closest thing that we have to Rasputin in this country, Mitch McConnell takes anything that comes from the Congress, puts it on the floor, and doesn't allow it to come up
Let
for
me
a vote.
continue with this.
Do you realize what that means?
No,
That means
it-
Mitch McConnell controls the entire government.
Right, but I'm refusing because here's the very major point, and I'm showing to you and people who listen that we don't have a proper functioning government from both sides. Right now, Russia is very kind of like very serious country, like with not just people of Russia, but the government of Russia, very serious force in the world. And here's the Belarus, the country which wants to be independent and wants to be the democratic country. And we, as America, supposed to support that country. Hold on, let me just finish.
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
Well, we have the wrong president to do that.
It's not just a president. There is no Fox News. There is no CNN. There is no movement in the media, in the Congress. There is no people in both sides who would just stand up and, hey, let's concentrate what is going on with our interest in that region.
I understand completely what you're saying. Here's the problem.
Okay.
The United States right now is consumed, totally consumed, about only one thing. And it's the same thing that the rest of the world is consumed with. And nobody really cares in this country really about Belarus or Iran or Al-Qaeda or anything else. The only thing they care about is surviving the virus. The virus controls the world as we know it. This election is about the virus. If Trump completely fails over the next month on the virus, he will lose.
Okay, so let me
that's
just
it.
ask you. It's just like 1 hour ago, you went and you purchased what? You purchased Chipotle to eat.
Yeah.
So you didn't concentrate on the virus. You went to the Chipotle, you bought the food, you ate the food. Why do we eat?
Wearing gloves,
Right,
a
but-
mask, eye protectors.
Hold on. Why
The only
we-
time I wear this much is when I
Right.
scuba dive.
My point is why we care about eating and don't care about democracies around the world. Why you saying that we are consumed with it's you may be consumed, but still you did your violin, you did your other things, you're doing stuff, and the Congress and the government of United States and media supposed to do their things. and they not consume of COVID-19. They consume about some BS stuff about what Trump said, what he didn't say, what he meant, what he didn't mean. There is nobody. My point is that there is no force that goes like, hey, this is what needs to be done.
Okay, I agree, but I agree with what you say, but it's all about the same thing that every news channel mentions. It's all about distraction. There's nothing in Belarus that Trump would agree with because he's on the side of Putin. He's on the side of Putin. He's not going to do one single thing that would even
Why
bother
nobody
Putin's
from
livelihood.
Democrats?
They
Why?
can't. They have no power.
They don't have to have a power.
No, of course they do. Even if they say
Anybody present, like you
They
have to
won't
present
do it.
something. So if you don't ask a girl out, she will not go out with you.
Right.
You have to ask first.
But the only people that will bring up Belarus and places like that are certain special sites on the media. But the main media is concerned about the election. They're concerned about the virus. They're concerned about the economy. They're concerned about the fact that football games have been canceled because of the virus. They're concerned about the fact that people can't go into restaurants and eat anymore. They're concerned about the fact that every type of entertainment is closed. They're concerned about that everybody is unemployed and no one's getting jobs back. This is more important than Belarus to those people.
Let me talk about that. So you just came from God knows where. You spent about more than 1 hour to come to drive here, and you will spend another hour driving out. We're recording this thing. You have your work. You have so much to do. I have so much to do. We still finding the time to record these programs potentially to help people to understand what is going on.
Because we care.
Yes, but otherwise, I'm driving that people in power, like the politicians, must find the time for all what you said, because everything is important. No?
Yes, but the only difference is that the world is such a mess right now.
Excuses.
What? No, excuse or not, the world is such a mess right now that on the level of mess, as bad as things are in Belarus, for people in this country, that's
why
down here.
we support Ukraine? Why we invested so much money in Ukraine? Hold on. We have like so many people, assets in Ukraine. We invested billion. Hold on. You don't understand what's going on.
I understand, but
Okay.
but the only thing I'll keep saying that is pre-pandemic. Everything that you're talking about is pre-pandemic.
Okay, so
the pandemic has changed everybody's
no, it's
thinking.
your change. It's your thinking. I'm still the same guy. I'm not conditioned to that. This event is going on beyond me. I cannot control COVID-19. I'm not in laboratory doing the vaccine. Only what I can sit and talk, oh, COVID-19, oh, somebody will die, or I'm not sitting and doing this. I'm working my things. I have so.
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
What could we possibly do besides lip service to help Belarus?
At least, because that's what we do. We must show our
But the
support.
guy who took over, he doesn't care about what we say.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we're talking about Biden, who knows what to do. At least he needs to show up and say, listen, I think that we need as a country to show support to Belarus, and we need to stand up, blah, blah, blah.
Even if he does it.
It doesn't matter. He has to say
I understand,
that.
but even if he does it, it's going to be a footnote. It's going to be a footnote in his ability to win the election. Right now, the only way to win the election is not by talking about Belarus. The only way to win the election is to talk about the malfeasance, the incompetence of Donald Trump.
That's incompetence, because this shows that he knows what needs to be done, and it's not being done. He needs, as far as like COVID-19.
We have to wait a month. We have to wait till November 3rd.
Forget about today. Like it's going today. This is like why I'm saying that Biden, as other like government people, they not competent. They don't understand that. Hold on, you see, you don't understand.
No, I
Okay.
do. I really
What-
do. I
what
really
do you
do
understand?
understand. But I also.
What do you understand about Belarus?
I don't. It's not a matter. It's not about understanding about Belarus. It's about understanding the potential problems that are going to happen over the next 38 days in this country. This is so much more important for everybody on this continent. Why? Because what's going on with the Republicans and with Trump and everything they're doing, from trying to rush in a Supreme Court justice after refusing to see a Supreme Court justice when Obama was president, saying no, it has to be, okay, you can't have a president during an election. But now they're rushing one through. Why do you think they're rushing this woman through?
Just to have the like to elect the judge, like
No!
What?
No, the reason they want her in right now, if they get her in, she could decide who's president. That's what this is all about. She could decide. She's completely exaggerated conservative, and he wants her in there because he's going to contest the election. Trump is going to contest the election in every way possible. He's going to make the election go to the Supreme Court. That's what this is all about. If she votes in favor of Trump, he's president.
I believe in all the judges who are there. I believe in them. They're not Trump. Trump thinks that they will re-elect him if there will be some kind of like way to re-elect them. Judges will be standing because all the judges, even Scalia, Canova, what is?
But this will be the second time. This will be the second time.
But they're good people too. Those judges, good people.
They're total. Look, the Supreme Court is supposed to be apolitical. No politics. No Democrats. No Republicans. Now it's so politicized, more than it's ever been in history in this country. Now it's conservative versus the liberal. And the conservatives are exaggerated conservatives. The liberals are exaggerated liberals, with the exception of the head of the Supreme Court, was it Powell? But he's honest. But this woman, and now it's going to be 6-3 for the conservatives instead of what would have been 4-4. Now that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. But if this woman comes in, it's 6-3, which means that if Trump decides to contest this election and ride it all the way up to the Supreme Court, that it doesn't matter how Biden does, he's going to get screwed.
Number one, I don't think that judges. I think that conservative judges potentially will vote for abortion. On the favor.
Oh, she's famous for that. She is famous. She's so extremely religious. She says she will never vote for Roe. She will turn over. She would change Roe versus Wade. Which is the whole thing. Which means that
but it doesn't.
Everybody who gets raped that has a kid better get used to living with the kid.
Okay. Anyways, point is this: that she's conservative, but it doesn't mean she's going to do something sneaky to re-elect Trump, or in the bad faith.
I hope that that's true, but I don't believe it.
They're good people.
But if they're political people, they're not right.
Even the political people have. Those people in Supreme Court, even though they could be with religious ideas, they pivot to their places, but still they're good people. Anyways, let's talk about different. So
okay, the biggest thing for me right now, the most dangerous thing in the history of the United States, we've got a lunatic guy in the White House now who's already threatened. And the difference is that I'm reading the Woodward book. I read the Michael Cohen book. I read his niece's book. I read the Bolton book. They all say the same thing. Don't just think that when Trump says something, it's not true. He only says what he really believes. And
Okay.
right now, he is going to try to contest the election unless Biden can win by a huge landslide, where it can't be contested. In other words, if he's got 51% or more in all the states to get the electoral college, that's the only, because if it's anywhere close, even close within 3 or 4 percentage points, Trump is going to take it. Trump is going to take it to court until it goes to the Supreme Court. The other thing they're doing now is that with the whole thing with mail-in ballots, and they've already got the cases going. It's serious in all the contested states. He's saying, oh, and then the latest thing is that he wants to take away all the benefits, the health benefits from New York, because New York doesn't support him. So he doesn't want to send them any more PPE, any more medical things, because they're Democratic. Same thing with Los Angeles. Unfortunately, most of the population in this country lives in Chicago, lives in Los Angeles, lives in New York, lives in Boston, which are mostly Democratic places. They're not rural places in Idaho and
yeah, but there is nothing wrong with that. It's just like most.
But the point is that they control. They still have electoral college. So what he's trying to do is to stop mail-in voting in these other states. All the states except Florida, because Trump votes by mail in Florida. But all the other states, he wants to kill mail-in voting. Then he can go to court and say all the ballots are wrong. Now the state itself has to decide, the electors from that state have to decide who the winner is of the election. Do you know how serious that is? That means all the popular vote is discounted.
It will be chaos. But
yeah, exactly.
from the other, and this is like in Michael Cohen book, this is what Michael Cohen says, like it's going to be chaos, and Trump is a master of chaos. So, and I agree with you that Trump is very dangerous for the country, but from the other side, it's not just about Trump. So first, I say like this is what's going on. People just like so concentrated with Trump, and it just other things unimportant, and it just so second thing, what is going on with the Uber and Lyft lawsuit, and nobody's talking about that lawsuit, and it's more Republican lawsuit than anything else. In California, we had like at the beginning of 2019, I think or 2020, the Proposition 22. What it is, it's like if you hire an independent contractor in your business, helping you within your business. Yeah. For example, if you're a musician and you performing and you hiring additional musician,
like freelance.
No, but it's not about that. You hiring a musician to perform in a gig wherever. You cannot do that. You have to hire him as an employee in your gigs.
Right.
So now Lyft and Uber are sued, so they have to have those drivers as employees.
Yes, I know about this.
Right. But the point is that we cannot afford that. This is like beyond any reasonable. This is
well, one of the, I think, now tell me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons is so that the actual ride services like taxis and limousines can compete against Lyft and Uber. They can't, as long as anybody can drive for Lyft. They don't have to go through all the licensing requirements, all the insurance requirements and things like that.
Give me the space to answer.
Okay.
Number one, I agree with you, because on the top, the taxi cab drivers are professionals, meaning that they don't do other jobs. It's not like a student of high school suddenly decided to work on his Uber, on his car for Uber on Lyft. And what they have to do, they have to just sign up for the app, and if they have a valid driver license, they just like go and just drive you. God knows what's their like experience, driving experience. Other people, I had so many incidents with all that Uber drivers. It's crazy, but it's just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, me too.
But most importantly, with taxi cab, these are professionals. But but forget about that. It's already Uber and Lyft already killed.
But can you know, especially after reading the Michael Cohen book, you know how Michael Cohen made his main business
he had
was
medallions,
which is the main thing in taxis. Can you imagine all of a sudden Uber and Lyft show up, and then you pay millions of dollars for these medallions, and these other people just have to download an app? It's not fair.
It's already gone. Like, because medallions are like in San Francisco medallions, in New York there were medallions, but in Los Angeles you not. If you're if you're part of the taxi, you're not an employee of the taxi. You actually own the part of the taxi, so you, taxi cab, it's you like kind of like there are different structures, but you're not an employee.
Yeah, but don't forget, most of the people driving for Lyft own the car that they're using to drive people.
And?
So isn't that the same thing?
It's exactly, so your point, you just said that, hey, the lawsuit to force Uber and Lyft to employ the people. And this is wrong because they like the whole point, let me just come back.
Yeah.
The whole point of this lawsuit, if the state wins this lawsuit, everybody, it will be hard to freelance people for anything. Because Uber is not in a taxi business. They basically the switchboard to connect. They're not driving themselves.
They're in the application business.
Application, right? But the court, the state through the court forcing.
Well, I understand. They're saying that everybody who works for Uber and Lyft has to be an employee.
But this is not. It's not reasonable because they cannot be like, if you come to me and work as an employee, you have your desk, you have hours that I assign you, but they come into work with their cars at daytime, so they all fit for.
You don't have to explain them. We understand how.
But not everybody.
No, but we understand how Uber and Lyft work. That's not, but yeah, now they're branching out to food deliveries and everything else. There's all, and then eventually there'll be flying cars. So
it doesn't matter. But the point is that drivers shouldn't be employees. What happens is this: that with this.
What do you? Let me ask you this. I understand what you're saying. Do you think that this proposition is going to pass?
Proposition passed already. They enforcing it to Uber. They taking a different level of insanity with that proposition. Now it's not just the proposition was suggesting, hey, if you are in the business, if you're a musician and you inviting another musician to perform, you have to treat that musician as an employee. Now Uber is not in the driving business, they're in application business, but the state enforcing them to
I understand what you're saying, but Uber's not, but the driver is.
Driver what?
The driver for Uber and the driver for Lyft is in the driving business.
Yeah, but they don't have to be employee of Uber. That's the whole point. So okay, let me because and it's good that you don't understand. This is a key proposition 22 that screwing the way we are doing business. That's the it used to be, it's easy. You hire somebody to do the job. Everybody's coming together, do the job, and you part with them. There are certain liabilities.
But you realize there are so many different kinds of apps out there. If I want to get a mechanic to fix my car, I can go under these special apps that recommend lists of mechanics.
And make a point.
Yeah.
So now, everybody who does this application, they would be forced to employ you. Do you see what is going on?
Well, we'll have to see if it goes that far,
But
or if it falls apart.
yeah, that's my point. That while we're doing some like Trump or not Trump, this or not this, the history. Hold on, don't brush it off. You see, you don't understand. This is the key point for all America: how we work, how we simply doing the business, how it's simple to be in
Okay,
business.
let me ask you this question. So the question, but is Uber and Lyft and things like this a service industry, or is it a taxi industry? Is the taxi industry a service industry, or is it its own style of business?
No, they in application business. They middleman to unite.
I'm not talking about Uber and Lyft. I'm talking about the people actually doing the work.
What do you mean?
Uber and Lyft, they don't do anything. All they do is they provide a.
They provide the platform.
No, basically it's a booking agency.
Okay.
Okay, but
Right.
the point is the people that are doing the work, the people that are picking people up, or the people who are delivering food from these application things,
Okay.
you know, these are the people who are actually working. Normally, how do they report their income? Let me ask you that.
Yeah, usually they independent contractors. They get the money and they report in their income on Schedule C. But state enforcing Uber to make them the employees. And Uber and Lyft do not have a good representation to make them understand. You paying for Uber now $5, for example, right, for some ride.
Yeah.
Now, because Uber has to employ you, pay you taxes, pay this benefits. Now your ride will costing you $10. And then there are complications with the income tax law that happened at the end of 2017, that if you're an employee, you cannot claim your unreimbursed employees' expenses on Schedule A.
Yeah,
So-
but can't they deduct gasoline? Can't they deduct insurance and all these things
But-
that they need to be able to drive people?
That's the point. If you're an employee, the new law which passed by Republicans at the end of 2017 prohibits you to deduct, as an employee, to deduct those expenses. It requires your employer to reimburse you for those expenses. Now, for example, you're driving your Toyota Camry, and then Uber has to reimburse you, like, let's say $10 per mile, for example, because it's Toyota, like Camry. But what if I'm driving Mercedes-Benz CE class? So then, will the application will they?
I understand. Well, they.
But the problem is this: they cannot discriminate. I want to work. I'm an employee, and by the way, I have Mercedes-Benz. It puts that conflict of who drives what, and how much has to be
From
reimbursed.
what you're describing is an absolute bookkeeping nightmare for
It's
Uber and Lyft.
Not just it's taxation problem. This is like nightmare for business.
But the other side of the coin is I don't see how the government could even enforce this, because all
But
they're going to do is force everything to close.
Exactly, but this is it, bingo.
Okay.
That's why it's what is going on, and there is no
Okay,
hold on. There are no Republicans. There is no people like to screaming the bloody murder, and everybody's like, the politicians are busy doing political games. Nobody actually
Well, the politicians are too busy in Congress trying to decide if they're going to give themselves a salary raise.
And that's why I'm saying, like, the number one, besides COVID-19, besides the coming elections, number one, we would have to support Belarus in their democratic stability and not recognizing the President Lukashenko. The second thing, which is like foreign policy, the domestic policy that changing in what is changing in California with that Uber Lyft lawsuit, it's changing the way we are doing business. This is crazy if the state will win.
Okay, let me ask you something else, because this is important. what does this country need right now? The problem is that unemployment is at historical highs. Businesses going bankrupt, historic highs. Evictions now, historic highs. So I was listening today to the guy who's one of the lead people from the show Shark Tank. As I was coming here on the radio, he said something very interesting. He said,
Mark Cuban?
no, not Mark Cuban, the other guy. Sort of.
Bolt?
Yeah.
He's in real estate, I think.
Yeah, but anyway, he has his own wine company. But
Okay.
anyway, he said something very interesting. He said, what do you think the government should do? So he said, the government should not do these PPP, bailouts and stuff like that. He says that's ridiculous. Don't do that. He believes that if everybody who can't work or who's fired, things like that, should go on unemployment, and the government should pay unemployment compensation. But if a business is bad, if a business can't make it, then they go bankrupt. Too bad. Because the thing, what he says is that instead of bailing out airlines and bailing out industries, he says these businesses own a great deal of real estate properties, whether it's hotels or restaurants or things. He says those properties eventually can get resold and used for other things. He says we don't need as many hotels as we have. And he says, it's capital. It'll be survival of the fittest, the way it should be in a capitalist country.
Jeffrey,
But he says, in the meantime, instead of companies being paid extra money to pay their employees for not working, that shouldn't be they shouldn't be getting money from the government to do that. If they can get loans, if they can keep their business going, fine. If they can't, they should.
let me just insert
die.
it. Number one, I said the same thing a little bit differently. Long time ago, you didn't accept that. The point is not just about giving free money for businesses to stay in business because they have no business model. Most of the businesses who are surviving now, they have a business model, their business is in need, and they will continue. This COVID-19 is actually good, if I can say good, for new level of the development. Because people who using internet,
Yes, changing the whole nature of business.
it's evaluating. It makes the business to make
Evolving.
involving, and
Evolution.
not just that, but it makes it like more like it keeps the overhead lower. So whoever can just transit to the new level of technology and business, like Chipotle. Again, Chipotle, you go online, you book online, you come to this place. It's
Your
very
food is
fast.
ready, you take it, you
It's
leave.
very fast. So this business model will survive anything.
Well, also, how much business now is taking, instead of people having business meetings where they all get together in an office, now everything's being done over Zoom.
Exactly. So, but it's been already. But again, coming to this, I like at one point I offered a perspective like for all these PPP loans, for all unemployment stuff. Everything should have gone from unemployment insurance. And people don't understand this unemployment insurance, it's not free money. If I'm an employer and you worked for me and my business is bad, you will get paid. But if I will survive and my business will be good, I will be paying back to the government because it's insurance. I will be paying back to the insurance. I know, that's why I'm telling you. So, and like I even went further, and because the government start paying to unemployed, self-employed people, but self-employed people don't pay unemployment insurance. I say, if you self-employed people, the government should establish that unemployment insurance for self-employed people.
But I always thought that even if you're self-employed, that, as part of the taxation and things like that, there's a put just like you have to pay Medicare, you have to pay health insurance, more advanced with all
let me
and things
explain.
like that.
Time out. So no. You pay, as a self-employed, you pay for Medicare and Social Security. You pay Social Security for your benefits when you retire.
Yeah.
Medicare, when you retire, you get, it's all insurance funds for medicine and for your Social Security payments. But you're not paying for unemployment insurance. What if you don't have the business?
But do business have to pay unemployment insurance for the people that work?
For employees.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but not self-employed people, because they don't have to work if they don't want to work. But if, whenever they work as self-employed, that could be the same model to charge the self-employed people with the insurance. What if they go unemployed? So that would
I understand. But I think. Well, I would have to. I think all the different self-employed industries would have their own set of variables as how they work. Because in other words, it depends on what you call self-employed. Because let's say I'm a furniture maker, but I'm self-employed, but I make the furniture.
Okay.
It's not that it's a little different than if I'm a musician and I hope somebody will hire me for a gig. But if I have a furniture business and I didn't incorporate, I'm technically self-employed.
So the key point is, whenever you have profit, for example, or to establish some kind of variable that to charge you, whenever you in business, portion for unemployment insurance for scenario what if.
Okay, I understand.
So,
anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because it was fascinating on the radio. Because all of a sudden I started thinking about it. It makes sense.
It makes sense when that guy billionaire talks about that. When I'm talking about it doesn't make sense.
He talked about it in terms of he says this is going to affect. He said what I'm saying is going to hurt me. Some of my businesses are going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I still agree that the government shouldn't be giving me money to pay my employees.
But
the business should just go bankrupt.
Yeah, but the same thing. Why government would pay you to stay at home? Just money. Why would the government pay? This is the same thing.
We've been through this already.
Yeah, but
the thing is that if people are trained for a certain job and the work is gone,
okay,
why shouldn't they get unemployment? Or should they be on the street bankrupt?
Right, because their services are not important anymore. The same. Hold on, Jeffrey. No. It doesn't matter. Like, let me just make a point. The same thing. Wherever the business, the business services are not important anymore, they have to go away.
So what you're saying. But this is what's not. So in other words, the entertainment industry doesn't exist anymore. The music industry doesn't exist anymore.
No.
The sports industry doesn't exist anymore. The restaurant industry doesn't exist anymore. Too bad.
Can I just say
that? I don't agree with that.
Right? No.
That's not why we pay taxes.
Okay, can I just say, like, point is this: Lakers are playing right now.
For nobody.
No.
For television cameras, that's it.
It's today because it's COVID-19.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about.
But they staying in business.
But that's because they're multi-million-dollar industries with huge amounts of capital.
But it's not.
You can't even compare, something like that. But talk about a small sports enterprise, like a minor league ball team that can't possibly stay in business because they're living day by day. If you're talking about the Lakers, talk about the Lakers with billions of dollars in the bank.
Let me just come back to it. So you like how many, so many like leagues or something that you thinking that will tank, and you have to pay for them to continue train or to continue to live. So how much you have to pay for all that?
All I know is that, for instance, Los Angeles, this is the center of entertainment in the United States. So you're telling me that Los Angeles has to just close? The entertainment industry has done no more movies, no more television, no more music.
It's you saying. But the point is, like, whoever couldn't transit to transition.
To what? I went to school. I paid fortunes of money to go to school to become a fine violinist. Okay. And now you're telling me, okay, there's no more work. Screw you.
No, I didn't.
You're on the street. Live in a tent.
Okay, but what is opposite? We will pay you to sit at home, wait until the industry will survive, or you can just for now, because you're saying that you're okay.
For now, what? Do what?
Okay, hold on. But what's opposite to what you're saying? You're saying the government has to pay you until what time?
Until my orchestra can start providing my concerts that they hired me for.
Okay, so for 2 years you're saying I'm going to be at home. I don't care about anything else. You guys owe me. Hold on. Or you could just, while the industry is on pause, you will do something else to survive, to find any other work, even though you're not trained for it. But instead of doing something else, you're saying, pay me to stay at home and do nothing.
Oh, I think that you have to at least be trying to get work. But that's what unemployment's all about. That you get a whole questionnaire, or did you try to get employed? Did you try to do it? We do it. But also, unemployment's very limited. It's only good for so many months, and then it's done.
So, are you gonna die?
Huh? I'm
gonna
make another violin and try to sell it.
Yeah, but
that's my other way out.
Yeah, but other people have to also try other way out. And
Look, in the case of music, people are trying to teach. They can't teach in person anymore, so they try to teach on Zoom.
Okay,
but which means that they're making a fraction of what they may teach in person.
It doesn't matter, but the point that this is a reality. But the choice is like what you're saying, that the government has to pay you because you have a problem, and the government somehow will pay you until that problem will be resolved. My point is, no, you have to find a way to sustain yourself. Of course, unemployment is here and blah, 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 but you have to find a way to survive. Otherwise, if it will not go in 2-3 years,
right,
what are you going to do?
But the thing is that we're in just an outrageously unbelievable situation. And don't forget, everybody pays taxes. Everybody pays income tax. Everybody pays state tax.
I don't think about that. But that's fine.
Well, you don't have to think about it. You get paid to do the taxes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I don't think that.
The point is that we pay taxes. Now, what do we pay the taxes for? So that the government can buy another tank? So that the government can can give themselves these outrageous salaries, so the governments can do inside, so all the people who work for the government now have the opportunity to do insider trading and everything else. No, there's no reason why, with all this money that we paid over the years into the tax system, that that we can't get some of this back in terms of.
Can I just answer this?
Yes.
We're all bankrupt. We owe each year. We have like a national deficit on our budget. Every year we run in deficit. So your taxes gone already for different programs.
But I understand what you're saying. The difference is that we are in an outrageous situation.
That's why the government is taking another trillions and trillions from our kids.
There is no choice. What is the choice? Okay, everybody died.
No, nobody dying. Like, point is, nobody, but some. But hold on.
207,000 people are died now. Have died from this pandemic in the United States.
Okay, we are not. Okay, so what we are talking about? We are talking about trillions of dollars, and we are talking about that we are running the deficit each year, and the government doesn't give a shit about anything.
That's true. That's the one thing I agree with. They don't care about.
That's why in my book I'm telling people, hey, government has to govern, they have to balance the budget. So whenever the pandemic and the situation like this happen, we have the money, the budget we have like budget for.
Yeah, but they will never do that. They will the last time they even attempted to do that was under Clinton.
It's not attempting. It was a good environment where like the government was not the government, but economy was going crazy, and instead of lowering taxes like in 2018 Trump did, Bill Clinton and the Congress, they actually increased the taxes and generated the surplus in the budget.
But that's a good thing.
It's very good thing. But again, and Biden will have. Hold on.
Trump has bankrupted this country.
He didn't bankrupt. He further bankrupted our country. Obama bankrupted the country with a couple of $1 trillion, and we still don't have a good health care. All right, so it's like Bush bankrupted the country, going like to Middle East with the war. Obama bankrupted the country to go with the healthcare plan, which doesn't work. And then Trump bankrupted the country with the idiotic, crazy tax law, which further bankrupt our country. How many presidents will bankrupt our country?
But the other thing, now we could go one step further. We're still recording. That's good. One step further, because we'll also have to talk about the biggest problem that we all have. Everybody, the entire world, the United States, everybody.
We just talked about that,
including Belarus, and that's climate change. Climate change, like you're saying, with this moron in the White House, everything that we were even trying to do before is gone. We just exited all the places.
Let me just explain.
How are we going to fix that?
Okay, climate change. I'm going to finish like my last segment, like last video, and I'm going to launch that climate change campaign, climate change my business. Not business, but it's non-profit.
Now you know where my new employment is going to be.
So, but the thing, I was listening. One guy was talking about like climate change, and he was he was not mimicking, but he was like absurding that girl, like which Greta.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so she's like a teenager now, or maybe like 20 years old now. But he's saying like,
the young girl who
Greta something.
Yeah, that Trump hates.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't make any sense because
she's just a kid.
It doesn't matter. She's like a weapon on some industry. She's put like there to scream that there is we need to get rid of CO2, but the point is this: with the climate change, people in a disarray, they don't understand what's going on because there is no climate change model. People don't know where it started, they don't know what causing it, like for sure, and where it's going. Is it a cycle or not? And I created but established the climate change model. I will explain how it started, what is causing it, and what's going to be the end, which is catastrophe, but what we need to do. And if people will not unite under like something, because it has to be a movie. Right now, everybody's screaming.
More important, it has to be a movement, and everybody has to get involved.
Yeah,
so before we go on, I just want to make it clear that. Of course, when we do our next video next week, obviously we're going to be talking about a little bit about the Biden-Trump debate, which will be the closest thing we have to live Saturday Night Live again. But more important, that we need to spend a lot of time talking about the climate crisis, because the plans that are being put into place right now are so important. They can change everybody's lives. They can create unbelievable new industries. It can change the way the planet works and thinks. Well, we've got to get the whole planet involved. and that includes Belarus and everybody else. So, what do you think? You think that's a...
Yeah, that's a good engine. So we will wait for debates. Debates are very important, like to see if Biden can stand up to Trump's craziness, and does Biden have anything to say who he is and what he stands for, because this is important. Is he left?
I think he's established, especially this week, that he's really middle of the road. But he's been doing a lot of great speeches, and he truly is in the middle. But anyway, we'll have a lot more to say about this next week, because next week on Tuesday, that's when both of these guys have to prove that they're worthy to be in the White House in the first place. So we wish you a good week. Everybody tune into the debates on Tuesday night. And don't forget to tune into the Sasha Geoff show every week. And don't forget to tune in to Blue
Glaciers Rescue Foundation.
BlueGlaciarsRescueFoundation.org. Yes?
No, it's blueglaciers.org. Yeah, .org.
I think it's .org.
Yeah.
But definitely go on YouTube. Definitely go on the
Channel,
website.
yeah.
Join the website. If you have contributions to make for ideas or any other contributions, please go to Blue Glaciers Rescue.
No, blueglaciers.org or Blue Glaciers Rescue Foundation on YouTube channel.
Okay. We wish you a good week.
Take care.
Bye now.